Welcome back, everybody. This is your boy, the real Charlemagne. Welcome back to Brick City, where we build a strong, intelligent culture, keeping it simple. Today is a very special show. Some brothers from my community. You know, the pandemic hasn't been all bad, because I don't think it was, if it wasn't before the pandemic, a couple of these brothers I probably wouldn't have connected with. You know, a lot of times we always look at the bad things of the pandemic. Sometimes we got to look at the good things of the pandemic. So today's show is going to be, we're going to talk about community, building our community, and what these brothers that I align myself with, we're starting to try to rebuild our community with the 100 Black Men. And we got an event coming up next weekend, 100 Men in Suits. And, you know, we just want to get the word out. Some people unsure what the vision is. Some people kind of skeptical who they want to align themselves with. Today, I just want to get some of the front runners of the organization online just to talk about what's going on. First, we're going to start with Mr. Jermaine Mcnair. He's out of Greenville, North Carolina. Introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jermaine Mcnair here. So glad to be here. Peace to my man Charlemagne and all the bros on the line, and to your whole family that might be watching or listening. But again, my name is Jermaine Mcnair. I am a community organizer, nonprofit director of the Greenville-based nonprofit NC Civil, and I'm also an instructor of sociology at East Carolina University. I've been here doing this work. Well, I'm almost I say a native of Greenville. I wasn't necessarily born here, but I've been here long enough to definitely call this place home. I grew up in the neighborhood. I got in all the trouble, went in and out of the jail system and the court systems, and until I finally saw, as you might say, the light, right? But when I saw that light, I think I just felt like when I realized what it took for me to see it, and then I began to consider what it might take for other young people to see it, it's like, that's way too much. You know what I mean? I felt like that was way too much. So I decided not to just, you know, take that light and advance myself, but come back into the neighborhood and begin doing that community work, that, you know, that nation building work. So
and we appreciate
I found it. Yeah, so I founded the organization back in 2013, man, and have just been doing the work, man. So that's what it's about. I'll say service absolutely saved my life. And I'd say, if I'm gonna throw any shameless plug, I'd say if anybody's looking for a way out, find somebody to help, man.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate you, brother. Mr. J. Harrison, what's going on?
What's up, brother? What's going on? All right. Jermaine Harrison. Also a little bit of a community organizer. I'm an entrepreneur. I own part owner of Sane Common Tea-Bar, Uptown Greenville, where we serve herbal teas and boba milk teas. I own several clothing lines, one of which that you see tonight is one of our new endeavors. It's called Art, but it's acknowledging raw talent. And we have a new product that's coming out for those who love to make their own custom stuff. This confetti, it's pretty much a screen print, but we put it in a shaker, like a salt shaker, where you can do your own thing, and all is required is a heat press. So yeah, man, organized with these brothers. I've known McNair for quite some time, and we have an extensive history together. Linked up with G-Todd during, like you said, during the pandemic, when things got a little hot. We were in the trenches together, chaperoning, if you will.
Right.
Along with a few other good brothers, man. And it's just a privilege to be a part of something like this, to make sure that, you know, give the future some good examples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And bro, you probably don't remember me, man. Look, I remember when you was a kid. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, because your wife, my cousin, used to be married to her aunt.
Yeah,
Brad.
Diesel. Brad,
Diesel.
yeah. Okay.
So I've been knowing you since you was like forever. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute,
wild.
you know. It's been a minute, but hey, I've been knowing you, even though you probably don't remember me back then, because I left and went to the military. But
Okay.
I remember y'all was
close,
kicking it way back then. And look, at the Max, when you used to have the birthday parties. Look.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. You're mixing the max.
That's how long ago it's been.
Chill, don't say too much about the match.
Hey, look, we just took it back a little bit. All right,
Yo, so look, I didn't know that y'all only met during the pandemic, man, and G.
Yo,
and G.
all of us. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I honestly, the first time I heard of G Todd, respectfully, I seen him. Quasi was doing an interview with him, and I was like,
Wow.
"What? This is a." I ain't gonna say what I was. I can't believe that there's, this dude a publisher, or, you know what I'm saying? I was like, wait, man, I've been looking for somebody like this. So when he seen me, I said I knew I was gonna cross paths with him, and it just so happened organically we end up in the trenches together.
That night, that night when everything went down.
Man, we
maybe should tell that story. We may should go ahead and throw that story out. But no, I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't know that.
Hey, look, we'll get you tied. Look, then we go to those stories, right? We'll talk about the trenches.
Right.
Hey, put it. All right, G Todd, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
All right, G Todd. I am. My full name is Garrett Taylor, but I gave my son my name, so I'm officially now going by G Todd more than anything. I'm originally from Bertie County. I moved back here. I was teaching school in Newport News, Virginia. I moved back to Greenville, moved back to East North Carolina, and settled down here in Greenville, where I met my wife and started my family. I am originally at my core. I started a mental health business now 22 years. We have been servicing. Right now, we focus on jail diversion for at-risk youth. We try to prevent out-of-home placement and sending our boys, mostly our boys, but all of our youth out to detention centers. So I've been negotiating with clubs, doing diversion programs, been in that field. We also have a nonprofit called The Power of You, where I like to do my more altruistic work. I don't like to mix, a lot of the prevention measures with my actual treatment programs. So in Uplift is my treatment part of what I'm doing. And Power of You is where I feel like I try to stop kids from ever having to need treatment. Gotcha. So we focus on early trauma intervention and prevention. We have a program now where we start working with kids as early as from birth to 6 years old. And my other program kind of picks up from that point on when the kid actually needs treatment. I think sometimes we rush our children into treatment too soon. And I really don't want, it's one of those deals where I'm in the business of working myself out of business. Right. I don't want to have to do mental health treatment. That's why I was loving, as Jermaine Harrison mentioned earlier about the publishing that I'm doing with my wife. That's really what I would love to do. I don't want to have to do the work that I'm doing, but it's necessary. And so, that leads into the publishing. I'm also a publisher, co-owner of Charlemagne Publishing with my wife, Diane. We're now 6 years in 7 years in. We have dozens and dozens of books that we publish, from textbooks to children's books. Myself, I'm a children's author. I wrote 3 children's books, working on my 4th one now. But I have Daddy's Little Princess that's went viral, actually. I did that with my daughter. We were featured at Essence Festival 3 years running. We were featured in the Huffington Post. So it took off, man. It's one of those things where, you never know your impact. You never know what the potential of your impact. Every individual, man. I never saw that. I always tell a story like when we started the children's division. My wife, we were talking about with our publishing company. I said, baby, we need to do youth children's books. Mm-hmm. And she said, right now I don't have a child author, and I'm the type of person I like to make stuff happen. I said, fine, I'll write the kids' books. Right. I'll write the first ones. Right. And since then, and that was literally how I went into being a child author. And since then, I think at last count, I was over 100,000 books that we've sold worldwide. Between Daddy's Little Princess, Dad, Who Will I Be, which is actually my bestseller, where I really try to focus on reintroducing to our youth heroes under our own terms and on our own definitions. And I want to put those names in our kids' minds as early as possible. And then I have the third book that's I Don't See Color. We actually relaunched it into I Do See Color, because of the way, honestly, we've been having so much trouble with that book. It was a lot of folks want to put up for awards, but when people saw the title, it was always a turnoff. Because but sometimes people do judge a book by the cover, and they thought when they saw that book, well, this brother's a sellout. What is he doing? He's saying he don't see color, and I'm like, no, I do see color. So we had to, we had to change that, and we actually have a short film that's attached to that, a short animated short. It's about 8 minutes. We did it about 2 years ago, and we've been sitting on it now because we're in the process of tweaking it to relaunch that as well. Because we did, if you guys might know, I've never even promoted it or launched it because it wasn't, it wasn't where I wanted to be. So we were redoing the voiceovers, and I think Jermaine kind of helped give a kick in the butt on that one to kind of push the, because sometimes when you're doing work all over the place, it's easy to get sidetracked and put projects on the back burner.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're going to re-release that here in a week or so, and really kind of get the work back out there. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I see. Look, and like I said, man, I think I started following you pre-pandemic. I think I went to one. I think you guys had an event in Martin County, and I checked you out then. And then, like I said, we connected from there. But like I said, man, we all have different paths, and as Jermaine Mcnair said, we all kind of stay in our own lanes. And I think the pandemic probably slowed us up, so we're not pushing the gas all the time to kind of meet and link up. So I like I said, I know we lost a lot of people during the pandemic, but at the same time, making this connection is going to be valuable to our future as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, Jermaine Mcnair, you've been in the community for a while. What's your vision? What was your vision of the first 100 Men in Suits event that you had last year?
Yeah, so the vision actually wasn't even mine. What it came together in a very natural way or organic way, because what we were doing, myself, G Todd, and a few other brothers, we were kind of behind the scenes working on chartering the 100 Black Men chapter for Eastern North Carolina. And then what happens is, by me serving as a community organizer and being so invested in the community and active in so many different spaces, and when I say different spaces, I mean active with initiatives that go across multiple sectors, working in everywhere from education to criminal justice to, community development or youth development, or just so many different spaces. And when you get those relationships, one of the things I've learned over time, and I'm kind of taking a step back to move forward to how it really comes about, is that I learned the importance of having community-based organizations.
Right.
Because what happens is people have ideas and all sorts of things they want to do in the community, but oftentimes those ideas will never come to fruition because either they don't know who to call, don't really know what the process is. When they try to process, it just doesn't work out for them because oftentimes you get treated differently when you don't have this status or that status. So what happens is, in the community, a lot of people that come up with ideas, they'll say, hey, let's make this happen. Let's call Jermaine Mcnair. We want to make this happen. Let's call NC Civil, or however it goes, right? So you'll find me working on a lot of initiatives that aren't at all mine. But when community members trust me enough to bring their ideas to me, I'm probably the guy that's going to get behind the scenes, make the phone calls, move the red tape, get the streets blocked off, do whatever we do, because I, not just as an individual, but represent a community-based organization that essentially anybody can call, and we try to make things easier. So these brothers, I want to say Jermaine Harrison was even more so at the spearhead of this than I was, but they kind of reached out to me and said, hey, this is what we want to do. And it was so natural that they had an idea for 100 Men in Suits. We were working on launching the 100 Black Men.
Right.
And so there was this question that naturally arises out of when you're doing something like that, like a 100 Men in Suits. People will ask all kinds of questions like, what is this about? What are we doing? Are we just showing up to get dressed and look fancy? Or are we really going to do something? Well, hey, we've been working on this 100 Black men. So all of a sudden there's this natural alignment where we already have an answer that's building. So to fast forward a bit and then back up, we kind of knew going into the first 100 Men in Suits that what we were doing, we would be able to tease to the community that we've got a solution coming. As our brother who's not with us now, Brandon Dawson likes to say, and has really coined for us, that first walk wasn't the thing. It was the thing before the thing, right? It was to bring all the brothers together, get us acknowledging one another. First of all, get us to take the mean mugs off, because you know, a lot of times as brothers, that many of us grew up in the kind of environments that gave us our facial expressions, gave us our mannerisms. And a lot of that, you know, makes it so when we see each other, we don't all the time know how to acknowledge each other. We kind of, you see a brother, you put on that grill, like you like you know, like you got to show yourself as tough, or make sure you don't get sized up.
I'm a big boy, so I get that all the time, man. You like, man, you just don't seem approachable. And I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? I help anybody out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's just, you know,
but
if
it's
you
just,
a black brother,
you know, my
can
demeanor.
you be sweet? Right? Can you be kind and loving and sweet as a black brother? Well, of course, right?
Exactly.
So that event was about really just putting that bullhorn call out and saying, man, if you are a man, if you are a brother, come out and let's acknowledge each other. Let's stand arm in arm, toe to toe, and let's be who we are. Let's put that image out of Black excellence, brotherly excellence, man excellence, right? And let's just start there. But we did know that we had a trump card, if you will, forgive the no pun intended with that one at all. But we had a spade in our back pocket that we knew we wanted to play for our community and leverage that unity and snowball it into some action. So now we're coming back to that same event to launch for, you know, the official 100 Black Men of Eastern North Carolina. So shout out to the brother Glenwood Edwards, Marcus Exum, and our brother Jermaine Harrison, because that's who actually brought the idea to me, and I just jumped on the jumped in the conductor's seat to try to help bring it to fruition.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Glenn is another kid I seen grow up, man. He from the den. I'm from the den.
Exactly.
A lot of cats, man. Like I said, I left and went to the military, so I didn't see them in the mid-teen, you know, them early years, man. I come back, these cats, you know, they making moves, man. Hey, so Mr. Harrison, so what was your vision, you know, and what was your idea about bringing brothers together in our community? What had you seen that you said, you know what, we need to do something? What caused you to come up with that?
Well, I mean, I just knew of the things and experiences that I experienced myself. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have what I would consider OGs. Like you said, Brad Chapman, they took me under my wing. And I was like, man, there has to be somebody to show the younger people, the younger men, the right way. And the thing was trying to figure out the best part or the best way to grab their attention. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just that. And me, one of the things for me was getting jazzy. I used to love to see my pops get
right.
I used to see how my dad would get dressed up, and I knew how that felt for him. He put on his glad rags and put his joy juice on, what he liked to call it, his cologne and stuff. So just to see that. And so when G Wood and Marcus Exum brought it to my attention, I was like, yeah, I've seen that. That's actually pretty dope. We should put that together. But how are we going to get young guys to put it? Or how are we going to get them to participate? So it was like, man, I know the right person. I know the right people to get involved with. So I'm with some pretty prestigious gentlemen,
right, a
lot of the times. And you see how G-Todd is quite sharp there right now.
Hey, he stays sharp, man.
And then McNair, he's always, you know what I'm saying, dressed in the nines or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I like to, when I step out, I'm pretty clean myself, if I do say so myself. So I mean, but to piggyback off.
Say it, bro. Say it. Hey, we confident brothers. Say it.
Yeah. That's what the young cats need to see. They need to see the confidence because, you know, once you see that and they see that, they like, oh yeah, we could do this.
We could do that.
So it's just an inspiration. For one, it was twofold. It was basically for like the mentorship and the brotherhood and to have that confidence. And because we always working in the community to make sure that we got some type of mentoring or putting in the work. You can't do it remotely a lot of times. You got to put your boots on the pavement and see what's what. So it was a bit of a task to try to figure out how can we reach the young people and see how to get that accomplished. But yeah, it was a pretty dope idea. It felt electric. The energy was really live.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry I missed it, man. I was out of look. If y'all know me, like Jermaine get on me all the time. He'd be like, "What state you in today, man?"
You sound like me.
Hey, because I bounced right now, right? So I missed the first one. I was in Charlotte, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be in town for the next one next week. But hey, G-Tide, look, G-Tide over here, G-Tide. So hey, look, you stay in Facebook jail, bro. I keep that, but look,
both of them jokes.
Look, you keep it 100 though, and you know, I know after the last event, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I be peeping what people be saying on the backside, you know, and you know, some people was kind of coming at the event sideways because they like, why we gotta dress up and why we gotta do this, why we gotta do that. So this time around, J-Tide, are you going to lay it out ahead of time? Say, hey, come as you are, or you know, you just like, hey, do your best to dress up. How do you feel about those people that come at you sideways and like, well, we don't have this. How you coming down?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I stay in Facebook jail for a reason because I'm a straight shooter.
Right.
And so for those people who had a lot to say, they weren't there and they weren't doing.
Right.
Tongue.
That's why I got my own platform. Say what you want to say.
But they won't doing shit.
Right.
So, you know, to me, when you're gonna run your mouth and you're not showing up, then you just a gnat in the wind. Right. I don't care what you have to say, to be honest with you, because when it comes down to what that day was, if you had something to say, that means you were not there.
Right.
It was electric, and there were brothers with suits that they probably got handed down 4 generations. And there were brothers who went out and got clean and spent their last dollar looking amazing. Right. And at the end of the day, it was the pride that was in the air. You know, there was a feeling of self-worth that was in the air. And, you know, and so we got the whole, you just want to dress up a peacock. And then I heard we trying to go for approval for others. I'm like, yeah, but nothing to do with white folks. It had nothing to do with the police. It was about internal self-worth.
Exactly.
That's why when you go to a party and you see brothers in suits, you never see the fights.
Exactly.
You go to a party and you see brothers in tennis shoes and jeans, be ready to duck a few bullets. Why? Because the outside is a reflection of what's inside. Exactly. So, you know, so we were showing that image of Black men and Black excellence because, again, Black men have taken nobody gets beat up in the media, I think, worse than Black men.
Right.
Because if you want to kill a snake, you always have to go after the head. And that's what they've been going after our people since the day we arrived here. They've been trying to minimize the role of the head so they can have control of the people. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to, you know, and to me, and what's funny is people were coming even at me, and I'm like, yo, I just showed up. Right. You know, the brothers already put the Jermaines and the other brothers that put everything together. I just showed up. And it was like, yo, it was an electric event. Next time I'm coming, I'm bringing like 4 more young brothers with me. You know, we're gonna you know, keep this going, man, because, you know, at the end of the day, and, you know, we don't care. There's all kinds of suits. You can wear African suit if you wanted to. If you know, we have those. You know, if you want to wear, you know, the traditional suits, that's fine too. Right. At the end of the day, it was about just showing and highlighting a positive moment for Black men. And so at the end of the day, yes, we had a thing coming behind the thing, like our brother Brandon said. But even if that was just the thing, out of everything that was going on in our country, in our community, that's what, you know, the fact that I can see people focusing on that as a problem proves the dysfunction in our community. That's dysfunctional. If you think a group of brothers coming together, getting dressed up and coming out and trying to give acclamations of hope and prosperity is the problem in our community, then you, my brother, is probably the bigger problem. You're the problem. So I look at the naysayers. I take them with a grain of salt, because if you look at, some of them were just trying to gain attention. And me, I'm the type of guy, if you want attention, I'd gladly give it to you, but you probably won't want the results. But at the end of the day, it was about what we are as a group of men, and about restoring that pride and self-worth with us internally. End of story.
Yeah. Hey, look, look, I was in the military, man. I wore a uniform for some years. I don't like dressing up, but I will when need be. So, any of you guys can answer this question. So this time around, do you expect a larger turnout because of the success of the first one? Do you think you're gonna have some bandwagoners, or do you think it's going to be the same turnout? How do you feel about this one? How, as far as people jumping in your inboxes like, yo, what's going on? How you feel?
It's definitely going to be a larger turnout, but I would say intentionally so. We want it to be a larger turnout, and for people that come out, that's a good bandwagon, right? Because there were a ton of people that missed it. There was this other issue, because of the way it came together last time. You didn't really have time to reach out to everybody that you wanted to. It could have been bigger last time, but it's like, when the idea was proposed, then I was that guy, and I'm thinking back to when we first did it, like I was that guy that was saying, okay, we can get this done, but it ain't gonna be as simple as you think. It's gonna be a whole bunch of phone calls made, a whole bunch of permits that's gotta be had, gotta be taken care of. I can probably fast track them, but let's slow down on the advertising until I can get some things in place, because when you bring in that much strength together, people always lurking in the background and to shut you down before you get started. So if you don't mind, and I humbly ask the brothers, if you would just pump the brakes on it for a second, let me tie some ropes together. And by the time we got it done, then it was a scenario where it's like, y'all go ahead and push it. I'm going to work in the background to make sure that the logistics are in place. So we had some brothers that are great promoters, like we talking about G Wood. You think about what Glenwood does. He's a promoter anyway, right? You think about what the brother Marcus Exum does. That he's in that social club world. So they're organizing in their own way anyway. But when you're putting something together like that, I won't kind of on the fly. We had to identify roles, as opposed to this time around when everybody's pushing it, everybody's inviting, everybody's reaching out. Because I've done events before where you spend so much time inviting everybody and you ain't cross the T's and dot the I's.
Exactly.
Or the other way around, you spend so much time crossing the T's, dot the I's, you didn't work on building up your attendance, right? So this time around, I'll put it on all of our shoulders and say we have a little less of an excuse. Because when people reached out to say, hey Jay, why you didn't invite me? It's like, man, it really wasn't like that. It was a lot going on that you don't understand. Well, now we don't necessarily have that same excuse. So we're putting it out there. We're letting folks know. We're saying we want all our peoples involved. And again, I'm going to back up to address the proposed negativity, because, as a sociologist, I'll say I actually understand some of different people's plights and some of the arguments that get twisted up. And I think arguments that make sense but are misplaced. But nonetheless, I understand them. But what I will say is that, listen, man, do you know how many awesome and amazing brothers that you got right here in this area? Just in Eastern North Carolina in general. We actually, many of us see each other, like you guys said, you see them on the gram, you see them on the book, they're doing dope work, you hear about them in spaces, but some of us that even know each other, the best we can do is acknowledge each other in passing. It's like, but you exist in an area that's got all this power and prominence, but we ain't doing no long-term planning. We ain't doing no generation building. We ain't, you know what I mean? We're not coming together like that. So it's really a plug to say, man, if you know you have a gift, you know you have a power, you know you have a passion and a purpose, and you might know you have a lane. But let me tell you, until we are able to step over some of the barriers that keep us divided and come together and just focus on coming together, that don't mean you have to abandon everything you're doing.
No.
But yo, I mean, but if you can't come together and connect with a Jermaine Harrison, a G. Todd Taylor, a Charlemagne, all the list of other brothers that's already joined on, look, you're missing something. And if you can't make it, bandwagon next month. Whenever you figure it out, whenever it finally clicks for you, I ain't gonna be the one that's like, oh no, you didn't come, last year, so don't show up now. No, glad you finally saw it. I hope it didn't take anything drastic for you to see it. Now, come on, let's get to work. You know what I mean? So definitely,
I think sometimes, man, we get caught up being we males. We all alpha males in a sense.
That part.
And it's hard to humble yourself to cross that line and say, hey, you know what? We're stronger together than we are apart. And I think sometimes we get caught up, like you said, we get caught up in our own lanes and we like, you know what, man? I ain't messing with his brother. He got too much going on. I don't want to be a distraction or whatever. But, with me, man, I said, man, I gotta, when you had the 100 men, just a little cookout. We was out there with hot dogs and drinks. I was like, I don't even know how I got the information. Somebody was like, yo, just I was like, I'm going. I'm going. I'm gonna just show up. And you was like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? So, and we connected like that, man, because I'm like, if you continue to stay in the background and just not do nothing, you're part of the problem. That's the way I view it.
You a part of, and look, I don't want to hijack what you're saying, man. But look, when you see a brother that's grinding and doing good work, man, you gotta salute that spirit. Like you have to be able to salute the spirit, like, because that's the spirit that we need in our communities. Nike is spending billions of dollars to try to tell our young kids that in order to be somebody, you got to buy these shoes. You know what I mean? BET is spending millions of dollars to convince our young people that you got to have a certain thing in order to be somebody. But when I see the spirit that exists in brothers like yourselves and so many others, if you can't, find a moment to call out to that spirit. Now, there are going to be some kinks in the person.
Always.
You know what I mean? There are going to be some kinks in the person. But, man, get out of your own way, man, because the more we do that, and it's a challenge, bro.
It is.
Because we've been abused, and I don't want to get too deep, but we've been traumatized so much by just, you know what I mean, just mess that we all have found solace and safety in our own controlled spaces. And it takes a lot of growing up to say, I'm gonna open up my circle to some brothers and some people that I don't know the kinks. But that's that learning process that if we don't figure that out, we're always going to be more easily attacked. Any business we throw out there in the air, it's more of a hope and a dream because we don't have any infrastructure to support it. So we've got to start to acknowledge each other, acknowledge the spirit, and then learn to come together and work through the kinks, because that'll be that thing when that makes a generational effort stronger. Mm-hmm. So this 100, man, this 100 men in suits and 100 Black men of Eastern North Carolina, we believe it's a must, man. Please, this is an invite to everyone. Step out of your space and come bring your spirit and salute these other great spirits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Jermaine Harrison, I need you to promote your business one more time, man. Well, before we get off of here, shoot your website, your IG, all that good stuff out there. I want to help you push your clothing line.
So the clothing line, we're in the process of getting everything together, but you can follow us on the art department on Instagram.
Okay.
You can follow my partner is Art DEPT on YouTube.
Okay.
Sane Kava T-Bar. You follow us on Facebook. It's Sane SAIN Kava KAVA plus T-Bar. We also on IG. It's RUN Sane.
Okay.
Spelled out. So the word R, the word U, N, and then SAIN. You can find us on Instagram as well.
Yeah. Hey, talk to me a little bit about that tea real quick, man. You know, look, I got to get down there, man. Like I said, man, I'll be on the road. But
All right.
what's the tea about? Tell me a little bit about the tea.
All right. Well, my partner, he's an herbalist,
Okay.
and we come from similar backgrounds as far as my dad and my people from South Carolina. They didn't typically take over the counter or prescribed medicine. They dealt with herbs and stuff out of the woods that you can go and pick and steep and brew it and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
his grandfather, my partner's grandfather, brought him up the same exact way. So he went that path. So honestly, I met my partner right before the pandemic. I really didn't know him like that, but it was a similar path. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm looking for ways to help my mom who suffers from chronic pain, migraines, and these types of things. So I wanted natural substances because the medicine she was being prescribed was causing and requiring more medicine to counter the first medicine that she took. So it was just a continued path that didn't get any real results.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's pretty much health and wellness based.
Okay.
But then from a business standpoint, as I'm looking, because we're right under the nose of ECU, I had a thought about it. I was like, man, we're trying to sell something healthy to college students right here in their neighborhood, in their playground. So I knew that wasn't going to make too much sense. So that's when we started incorporating boba milk tea.
Okay.
Something that wasn't around in Greenville that much. I think there's an establishment now, but we were one of the first to do that. And let me just throw this out there, shameless plug. We're the first ever herbal tea, kava, and boba bar, ever.
Wow.
First ever.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know if we'll get the accolades for that, but I'm gonna just say it so it's documented.
Right.
And I'm gonna pop my collar on that because yeah, we did that. And the thing that I'll showcase more is that we definitely opened in the middle of the pandemic. It's really special to me because being in Uptown Greenville, there was a thing where I would try to frequent and patronize businesses down in Greenville. I was never granted access.
Got you.
Because of how I looked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I had to go to the Max and do my functions and situations at the Max in the hood or whatever. But I wanted to go on the other side to see what that was like too. So the irony is I have a thriving business in the same places that didn't grant me access.
Wow.
So yes, that's another reason to pop my collar on that. Yeah, man. But yeah, so it's just a great thing. And then kava is one of our real things that we brought to Greenville. Kava is one of those. It's a non-alcoholic substance that you take that's been used for hundreds of years. Comes from the Polynesian Islands, Samoan and Hawaiian Islands. It's a natural herb. It gives you a sense of euphoria. So you get the sense of euphoria without the toxicity. It's great for anxiety, depression, pain, helps you focus. And like I said, man, it's for those people who want to stray the dependency of alcoholism, they can use kava as a result. You know what I mean? So
cool.
They use it in Florida to get people off of alcoholism, if you will. So yeah, man. Yeah.
That's what's up. Yep. That's what's up. G-Todd, I'm gonna go with you, man. Hey, tell people how to get your books and how to link up with you about mental health. You got a kid that's trying to get into some of your programs. Tell people how to reach you and put out your IG and everything. Don't put out your Facebook because I know they ain't gonna be able to reach you. They gonna be able to reach you. Hey, I'm just messing with you, man. But I know you got a business side, man. I just gotta mess with you.
He got like 3 pages. So
right. Look,
they think they got him, but they got the A.
Hey, look, Jermaine, you can't put that out there, man. Look, that's a hood code, man.
Hey, y'all need to leave my fellow inmate alone, man.
Hey, people how to reach you.
Hey, look, but look, Charlemagne, before I do all that, man.
Okay.
Since Jermaine Harris had mentioned his Sumter, South Carolina roots, I have to salute his family member, Mr. Eric Bernard. You can catch them hands anywhere you want them, Canty, who was delivering that smackdown that you saw in, I think it was Applebee's that was going viral. This moment in Black history. where the gentleman was using the N-word repeatedly, and Brother Canton delivered them hands expeditiously, and it was a proud moment, and I just want to salute the whole family for that display of Black excellence that I saw in Applebee's that day.
Hey, G-Time, my mom called me about that butt whipping. My mom was like, hey, she was like, hey, you see that? I was like, hey, when your mom call you about a butt whipping,
they erect a statue to that brother.
We need him.
When your mom call you about a butt whipping, it was a serious butt whipping.
Hey, listen, it was funny. I had sent Jermaine the video. Because we on Messenger, and he was like later on, like a couple hours later, he was like, "Yo, that's my cousin," and I was like, "Wow, yeah." So,
Hey, if I might chime in real quick, I'll just a little bit of backstory, because people just think that man called called my cousin out of his name. It wasn't
right.
that. The backstory is there was a lady and her daughter celebrating the young daughter's 21st birthday.
Mhm.
The white man, the gentleman who received the hand of God, was making sexually suggestive comments to the young lady and asked him repeatedly to stop doing so. He then called himself the Doug Mandingo or something like that. So that's when my cousin Eric Canty, shout out to him, he stepped in their defense. So the stigma that brothers don't take up for their sisters, I hope my cousin dispelled that whole situation.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't condone violence,
Right.
but that one was a day in Black history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very warranted.
So I just wanted to give that salute.
Oh yeah, salute
to that brother. But so now I get on with my little shameless plug. You can pretty much find me anywhere social media, G Todd Taylor. That's my direct. I try to keep it simple. So Instagram, everywhere everything is G Todd Taylor. Twitter, Facebook, even my website gtoddtaylor.com. Where you see some of my books, some of my work. I got to update a lot of that because sometimes you're moving so quickly, you don't have the time to really update and push stuff out. That's all my personal stuff. My publishing company, our publishing company, Charlemagne Publishing, which I co-own with my wife Diane. That's available at www.taylormadebooks.com. Or you can actually find us on our subsidiary we launched now to focus more on publishing, promoting not only our books, but others. It's called Bantu Books. And that's coming out real soon, bantubooks.com. You have some of our stuff there. And you can now, my mental health, if you have a preteen and teenager who's showing signs of delinquency, there's at risk of being placed out of home or going to jail, or one who's been back and forth from detention centers, you can reach out to us for our primary program is multisystemic therapy. We have trained licensed therapists. It's an evidence-based initiative that's been implemented worldwide. Okay. It's recognized by the DJJ and various mental health organizations as one of the best preventative measures for incarceration for our young boys. So that's one of the reasons young people, was one of the reasons I really jumped on that one to implement. But that is available through my for-profit entity, Uplift Comprehensive Services. You can reach us on Uplift, www.upliftnc.org, or our office number is 252-551-5544 for screening. We actually have the pre-screening contract pretty much for most of the DJJ agencies. And so if your child is on probation, parole, and you might want to request, how would MST benefit my child? Okay. For my preventive and my nonprofit work, it's the www.thepowerofu.org. And when I say U, it's just the letter U, because we kept the uplift thing going into our nonprofit. So it's www.thepowerofu.org. And that one of I call it our Gold Star program. There is Child First, which is the youth trauma prevention early intervention initiative that covers birth to 6. Like I mentioned, we also have substance abuse and drug prevention services that we do for pretty much every child. And we also do community outreach and awareness campaigns. We actually have one going on right now with Elizabeth City State University, with all the work going on with the COVID crisis. We want to make sure that our young people, especially HBCUs, are receiving or aware of mental health services and counseling services. So we want to link them. We want them to be aware of stress, and because we want to prevent binge drinking and some of those other things that people tend to do. Right now with the pandemic, alcohol sales have been through the roof. Drug use has been up. More admissions into treatment centers, more overdose. And so, all those things have been exacerbated through the pandemic. And so we want to tackle those things directly and head on. So we have those early intervention and preventive services over at the Power of You. And we're constantly updating. We do substance abuse screenings with pretty much every DSS agency. Now we're the contracted SA screener for anybody who's looking for work first or any additional services. We help to screen and make sure that if a family is dealing with stuff, sometimes when people have a need, there's also back issues. So yes, this mother might just need food, and we want to make sure we work with DSS to make sure that basic need is being met. But if there's an SA issue that's causing this person to not progress and to continue to be in this place, we want to try to screen for that as well and try to get the appropriate services. So we've been all over the place, and and we cover everywhere basically east of 95. Okay.
Yeah, y'all growing, man. I appreciate all the services you do, and keep growing. Be blessed. All right, Jermaine. Last but not least, Mr. Mcnair. Tell everybody how to reach you, but tell us a little bit how to join the 100 in Eastern North Carolina.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the most important thing, and I'll defer to the latter rather than the former request. But I mean, honestly, you could probably just punch Jermaine Mcnair, just Google that name. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but there should be enough that would populate in that search that you could probably follow one of those links and get directly to me. But I'm on all of your major social media platforms. There are no funny names, Jermaine Mcnair. You search that. A lot of times my handle is Mr. J Mcnair, but it's MRJ Mcnair. And you can find me most places using that as well. If you want to look into the work and figure out how to tap in or support the work that we're doing with NC Civil, we certainly need it because we are a true and pure community-based organization. We focus on a lot of the structural work in communities, a lot of the long-term planning, neighborhood planning, outreach, organizing, things that are, and what's unique about that I'll plug is that structural work is the kind of work that isn't often funded. Most of your major funding sources want your nonprofits to focus on direct services, feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, a direct kind of consumer interaction. And through all my years of study and work, I've learned that if you have communities and all the efforts are focused on emergency relief services or direct services, no one is doing the work with the community to strengthen its ability to build itself, right? That capacity building work. But again, that's that work that oftentimes you can't put a finger on. You can't, it's not that directly visible work. So we stick to that with integrity, even though it's not the most sexy and most funded work, but we continue to do it. But it's work for and by the people. So we're rooted right in the middle of West Greenville, which is the highest concentration of disparity in a single area in Greenville. It's the most historic area where all the lower incomes are mostly concentrated. We're right there at 800 West 5th Street. You can stop by. You can go to nccivil.org and tap in on our website and see some of the initiatives that we're running. I also offer, I'm on the private side, consulting services. I work with a lot of organizations and institutions and provide methods on how to partner equitably and effectively in communities, because there are a lot of institutions and organizations that want to do good work, but when it comes to positioning yourselves in areas that are suffering from disparities, there are a lot of dynamics and things that cause that relationship to go wrong.
Okay.
So it's good to have, we have a lot of tools, an entire toolbox to provide support for organizations to strengthen their partnerships in these communities. So you can tap in with that. That initiative is called Inner Core Consulting, INNER. CORE, Inner Core Consulting. And all of that is based off of a community-centered programming model that I've been working to design and perfect over the past 10 years. But for the 100, which is the big deal, you can actually for now go to nccivil.org/100.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, forgive me, that was a thing to come through. But
Okay.
you can poke around the NC Civil website and find a link to 100, but
Okay.
you can go directly to that page at nccivil.org/100 BM, as in Black men, 100 BMENC. And it'll take you right to the page. You can go there and complete your membership application. You can set up your dues all from that same page. But if you just want to hear more about it in person, certainly come out to the 100 Men in Suits in Greenville, North Carolina. We will be at 500 Evans Street. That's more locally known as 5 Points Plaza. It's a large parking lot area downtown where we're going to meet. It'll be at 1 p.m. That's next Sunday, 1 p.m. On February 27th. And we'll meet up at 1 p.m. and we'll walk through our downtown area with a great and magnificent showing of strength and positive male presence. And we will be there to celebrate the launch of the official 100 Black Men of Eastern North Carolina. And that will be the day that we will scream from the rooftop, announcing to our community, our mothers, our parents, our organizations that serve young people, that there is finally a strong presence of Black men that is here to provide one-on-one mentoring opportunities. So if you're out there and you're working with young people and you know you got young people that could benefit from a one-on-one mentoring relationship with a positive Black male, then now there is an organization for that. I will also be remiss if I don't add that one of the primary reasons we chose this as a platform, because as you hear, all of us are doing work. I run a nonprofit. GTAR runs a nonprofit. So many of our other brothers are in churches and other organizations doing good work. But there's not one place where all of those folks can come together and leverage our collective power, right? And then there are a lot of organizations that still have a small barrier. Right. Meaning, I've done the work with NC Civil so long that one of the sad realities is that people look at NC Civil and they say, "Oh, that's Jay's thing." Right. For me, they look at Uplift or the Power of You and they say, "Oh, that's G's thing." They feel like it's not theirs. We wanted to bring forth the 100 Black Men of Eastern North Carolina chapter to say, no, this ain't Jermaine's thing. This ain't G's thing. This is our thing. If you are a Black man, this is your thing. And there are fraternities to where they doing great work, but if you're not a part of that college life, it's going to be hard for you to do that. There are great churches doing great work, but sometimes if you're not a member of that faith, it may represent a barrier. This is just an open platform for men. Right. So please, I can't say please enough, but tap in with us, whether online or coming out to that event. But if you come to that event, we're going to have a phenomenal day. Awesome.
Hey, look, all y'all brothers been dropping nuggets the whole time.
Real quick, Charlemagne, I forgot the Facebook page, Jay. We also have a Facebook
page.
Facebook,
yes, right.
Yeah, you can go to, I'm sorry, thank you. You can go to Facebook and look up the 100 Black Men of ENC. Right. There's a Facebook page and a group. If you want to join the group, you might, I'm not sure if you need an invite, but you can tap in through one of those pages and look. You don't have to look for me. If there's a brother that's a member of the 100, he can get connected with you and get you everything that you need. So, see a brother, tap a brother in.
Yeah. All right, man. Y'all be dropping nuggets the whole time, man. Hey, you guys out there, young brothers, I want y'all to bring out your dictionaries, right? So my panelists, right? I don't want you to drop a nugget. I don't want you to drop a whole spiel. I need one word to encourage a brother in our community. One word. That's all I want them to do. I just need one word to encourage a brother today. And I want them to study that word that you dropped for. I'm gonna start with G Top.
Tenacious.
Appreciate it.
Tenacious.
And you ain't got to go no further. All right, Jake Harrison, what you got for me?
Perseverance.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. McNair, what you got for me?
I normally would say service, but I'm going to defer and I'm going to say brilliance.
Appreciate it. Hey, look, with all the three of those things right there, you can't go wrong. But man, this has been awesome, man. We went over a little hour. I ain't want to take too much of y'all time today. It's a Saturday, pretty day outside. I ain't want to take too much of your time, but I really appreciate this, man. And you know, we just want to get the word out about the 100 Men in Suits coming out next Sunday, 1 o'clock. You know, I've talked to a couple of brothers in Maryland also, Jermaine and J. Todd and Jay Harrison. I'm trying to get them to come down. They're already in the 100 in Maryland. One brother already sits on the national chapter. So they trying to come down next Sunday. So once I get the word on that, I'll shoot y'all a text or email, let you know what's going on. So I appreciate y'all brothers to the fullest. You know, hey, much love, man. You know, I'm glad we all connected, and I'm glad y'all was able to come in on this Saturday and drop a little knowledge. And like I said, man, much blessings. And people out there, make sure you follow these brothers. They doing big things in our community, but the community is worldwide. You know, I know G Todd do things in Africa. You know, these boys, they got clothing lines. And Jermaine, I mean, in this virtual world we in, hey, connect with these brothers. You could be anywhere connected with these brothers. That's all you got to do. With that being said, feel free to subscribe, follow me on all platforms. My shameless plug every week. Hey, but like I said before, ain't going nowhere. Real Charlemagne. See y'all next time. Peace.